Hey everyone, it's Danny B here, and I'm joined, of course, by
Claudia B.
It is Throwback Week at Darlington Raceway this weekend. The track too tough to tame. And this week, well, while we do have next-gen cars with next-gen number placement, it's still Throwback Week. So it is time for us to grade this year's throwback paint schemes that have been released. These are provided to us from an article on NASCAR.com that was a compilation of this year's throwback paint schemes that have been announced. So unless for some reason something's announced last second, these are what we have to review. We've got a few from the Truck Series, a few from the Xfinity Series, and a few from the Cup Series.
And keep in mind we are filming this on Tuesday. So this is all we have seen thus far. So even in the morning, there may be something that, we missed. So we're just going to go with what has been posted thus far. Yeah, what we have available. Even today, there was some announced by Trackhouse Racing. So, there could be more announced, but for now, this is what we have to work with. So we're going to go with that. So let's get started. Let's go straight into the Truck Series. Starting us off, we have Haley Deegan, number 1 in the Truck Series. Now, Claudia, this is throwing back to Bobby Allison. First off, I think I like the fact that the paint scheme is correct and colors for the most part look correct. I think everything on here is pretty good. The only downside is probably didn't adapt the number. What do you think? I think the same thing. The colors look spot on. They just kind of where the lines are. It looks really good. My only complaint would be the same thing with the 1. You do see a 1 in his number, so that would have been nice to mimic that. Think that would have been made it better. Oh, and we didn't even say what scale we're going to do this on. So we are going to go to school and we are going to give this a letter grade.
Yeah. So for me, I would go with a solid B on this one. What would you say?
I would do an A-. Good, but not quite there. You could have tweaked it a little bit and it would have.
Next up, we have Blaine Perkins, number 9. This one, I like that they have done a good job of incorporating that grass look from Ortho into this one. The sponsor is Raceline. Now, I'm not really as familiar with Raceline. I know there used to be a show, I think, that was called Raceline, but I don't think this is the same show because I think that one went away. So I'm not as familiar with Raceline, the company, but I do like that the number looks like it's pretty well accurate to the truck that it's throwing back to. Overall, I think it's pretty solid. I'm going to say an A on this one. What do you think?
I would agree. An A. It does replicate pretty well. It's just not a super exciting paint scheme, but it does the job. It's throwing back. So A it is.
Next up, we have the number 12 of Spencer Boyd. Now, this is going back to Michael Waltrip's Hawaiian Punch car. And they've done the numbers correct. They've done the correct font on that. The colors are pretty well right with the outline of the Rim Time logo. The colors are correct as far as everything else. They can't really say too many downsides other than, the sponsor's obviously different, but can't get that to happen. But, even then, it kind of looks like the Rim Time logo might have even been adapted their font to look like Hawaiian Punch. I can't tell. What do you think, Claudia?
I can't really tell either. I don't know what the logo looks like. Same with the last one. A, it does the job. Not a super exciting paint scheme, but it is cool because...
what it's going back to.
Yeah. So I give that one an A.
I will agree with Claudia. I'll say an A on this one. Actually, no. I'll say A-. A-. All right, next up is Tyler Ankrum. Now, this is throwing back to the number 5 Toyota Tundra truck. Now, this is pretty well accurate. The paint scheme is accurate. And, it's even on a Toyota Tundra, so I appreciate that. They did keep their font on this one. So overall, I'm going to say a solid B+ on this one. What do you think?
I'm in the same range, A-. So far, these trucks have been pretty solid. I haven't seen one that's just been flat out awful. These are all pretty well. All
right, this one's pretty cool. Ryan Preece is in this race in the 17 United Rentals truck. Now, him being a big modified guy that he is, he's throwing back to Reggie. I'm going to butcher this name, Reggie Ruggiero. I'm sure I'm wrong, but Reggie, he's throwing back to Reggie here, and that paint scheme looks like it is really accurate. As big of a modified guy as Ryan Preece is, it's appropriate. I say A on this one.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that same range right there. Probably A-. Love the water look. That's just such a, the little waves on the side. Like it.
Oh, yeah, because it's throwing back to his sponsor with a pool company.
Oh, well, there you go. And honestly, I haven't seen a lot of these, so I'm just kind of really like, this is the first time. So you're getting like an actual true reaction out of me.
Next up, we have Danny Bond of the Young's Motorsports team. Now he's throwing back to the 11 Mountain Dew car of Darrell Waltrip. This car has been thrown back to before in the past, especially by Dale Jr. and Mountain Dew, but it never goes wrong, especially here at Darlington. I'm going to say an A on this one.
A as well. I love that paint scheme.
Speaking of paint schemes that we love, I love this one. Matt DiBenedetto is throwing back to Nashville native Sterling Marlin and this team, the Rackley Roofing team. They are based out of Nashville, so this makes a lot of sense. And the silver bullet paint scheme is iconic in NASCAR history. I'm going to give this one my first A+. I know we've seen this one before because Starcom did this back in the day, but I'm going to say an A+ of this one.
I love this. I don't even have to see the car it's thrown back to. I know what this is. This did the job well. A+ for me.
Okay, so this next one is actually a really, really accurate throwback, and I love this one. It's Chris Wright. Now, they have been sponsored by the VFW, and their number is the 44, and this is throwing back to Ron Hornaday in 2009. Now, Claudia may not be as familiar with Ron Hornaday because she didn't watch NASCAR back when he was around, but I will show you his truck from 2009, and you tell me if this is accurate.
That's like to a T, and like, you will hear me say this if this comes across again. I love when the sponsor matches up. Mm-hmm. That's a proper throwback. A+ for me.
Just the fact that they match it all up. A+ for me as well. Now, this is a unique one to throw back to. This is Lawless Allen going back to Jeff Gordon's 2007 car that he ran for one race in the Coke 600.
That's so random.
I remember this car running because I think I had a 186 scale diecast of this car at one point. But it's just so random. And I think the only reason they went with this is because the Auto Park It colors kind of match up this car already. But it's interesting. It's not the only Jeff Gordon Flames throwback we'll see this weekend. But I do like it. It's weird and unique in its own way. But the number isn't entirely there. I'm going to say a B on this.
B+ for me. That's so random and like that's oddly specific.
I know.
But yeah, it works. I like it. If they ran this on a regular race, I wouldn't be mad.
All right, so I think this is the final truck we've got here. This is the 61 of Chase Purdy, and this is throwing back to Darrell Waltrip's final Truck Series ride of his own team, the number 12 Toyota Tundra. And what I love about this is the fact that their truck, although it is a partnership with Bama Buggies, they have put on the words Tundra onto the side of this truck to perfectly match up. Now, the number's still not been changed any, but because it's pretty well close, I am going to say a solid A- on this one.
B+ for me. I mean, it's close, but we're not all the way there. Good effort, though. All right, so as we wrap up the Truck Series, what would you say if you could pick one that stands out, who would you pick?
Out of all of those, I still think I like Matt DiBenedetto the best.
Gosh, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say that one just sticks out for me. That one gets my pick for the Truck Series.
Next up, Xfinity Series. All right, to start us off on the Xfinity Series, we have Sam Meyer. Now, Sam Meyer... Mayer? Sam. He's Sam.
Sammy? Samuel?
All right, when Samsung's car was first announced, Claudia actually texted me and asked me, what is this throwing back to? And when I looked it up and I showed it to her, which was actually Terry Labonte's Skull car, you immediately thought that was a great throwback.
I forgot. They announced this one a little bit ago because I totally forgot I asked you that.
Yeah, I mean, they've done a lot of things correct on this. It's pretty well good. Accelerate even changed their font up to be close to the Skull font that they had back then. And what I even appreciate is, although it's got a slanted one on the side, the real car, the Skull car, had a not slanted number on the roof, and they have done that with this throwback. So, and the American flag is just a good touch on the back of it. I don't remember if the actual Skull car had that. It probably did, but I like this overall. And I'm going to say overall, an A+ to start us off.
I see an A. Like I said, I forgot what that looked like. But from your description, sounds like a great throwback. So solid. All right. Starting off solid.
Next up, we have the 02 of Brett Moffitt. Now, this is throwing back to Mark Martin in 1982. This will not be the only Mark Martin throwback we see this year, but this I like what they've done here. The logos have actually changed up their colors and their design in order to match up. The Half Off Wholesale Company has matched up to the Jolly Rancher Company, and even the front area has matched up to the sponsor as well. I think they've done a great job of this, and as much as I hate to do it back to back, I'm going to say an A+ again.
Yeah, this matches really well. No, I mean, it's just not a super exciting car, so it's like hard for me to just say, yeah, awesome throwback, because the scheme originally wasn't that exciting, but they did replicate it very well.
I think the accuracy is what drives me to do an A+ on this one.
Okay, well, I will agree with you on that one. A+.
And next up, we have Justin Allgaier, number 7, Hellman's Mayonnaise Chevrolet. This is obviously throwing back to Dale Earnhardt, it looks like. I think this is probably one of his Wrangler cars. But even what I think is interesting here, Hellman's has done a special redesign of their logo. I appreciate what's been done here. It looks just like a Dale Earnhardt car. I say an A.
I'm on the lower end. This just doesn't excite me. I don't know if it's the colors. I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't do anything for me. So B.
Ooh.
I know, I'm a little critical. I don't know. Now, this is something that excites me. Like I said, I don't know what it's throwing back to, but I know Looney Tunes is involved. They've definitely got that theming going on, with the cartoon-ish, vibe, the graphics and whatnot. I can tell it's a Looney Tune car. I just don't know exactly. I love this.
So this is actually throwing back to, this is a horrible picture I'm showing her. Actually, no, it got better. This is throwing back to a Dale Jr. 2002 Busch Series car that had Tasmanian Devil on it, as well as, I can't remember the name of the red person on the front of the car, but the Tire Pros has done a good job of making their own kind of Looney Tunes inspired mascots for this car. I love
this.
They have done a great job of this for for Josh Berry.
Man, only if you could have the 8 font right.
I know.
Like, man, it's even an 8. Gosh. But I love this. A+ for me.
TE, wherever you are, let it go.
That's all you're going to say.
Yeah. Old TE. Now, this next one is Josh Bilicki in the 44 of Alpha Prime Racing. This one was very interesting. I had to make sure this is the right car, and I couldn't find many other pictures of this car to show Claudia. But this is throwing back to David Rudiman, Burger King. This is the original Burger King paint scheme when Michael Waltrip Racing was first announced. They ended up changing this to be a little bit different as the year went on. And I think this one might have only ran like at one track in this style, but they've done a pretty good job. And I had to make sure that it wasn't Burger King actually sponsoring Josh Bilicki. It's Insurance King.
Okay, so when this popped up, so I haven't seen a lot of the lower series. I've seen most of the Cup series, but I was like, wait a second, let me get closer to that. Does that say Burger King? No,
yeah,
it does not.
I had to double check. It's not Burger King. It is Insurance King that's on this car.
Wow. Well, how fitting. Maybe that's why they did Burger King, because they could kind of make it look like Burger King, with the King logo real big. Even the ad looks like it would be like a little paper ad in like a magazine.
Right. It makes me think of okay, whatever that can is that's on here, that looks like that would be where the burger would be. The lug nuts are like some fries. So yeah. I don't know. They've done a good job of this one. It's random, but man, the fact that I had to really look at that and make sure that wasn't Burger King that was on board at 44.
Yeah.
I mean, they've done a good job of this one. I got to say an A+ for this one.
Same. Great.
Such a random car to be thrown back to.
Okay, yeah, we're picking very specifics, like on some of these.
Yeah. Now, this next one, this is the 48 of a local team, Big Machine Records Racing, the 48 car. Now, this has got the Spiked Lemonade Company on board, but they are throwing back to Bobby Allison's Coca-Cola car. This is in my opinion, it's a way overdone throwback at this point. Many people have done this throwback, but it looks accurate. I appreciate that Spiked changed their logo up to look like Coca-Cola. And do you know who's driving this car, actually?
I don't.
It'll be Tyler Reddick, actually, this weekend driving this car.
Okay, that is interesting.
Yeah, so Tyler Reddick will be making an Xfinity Series start for Big Machine Records Racing. So, interesting. I like the effort, but I do think it's overused. So, for that, I'm going to say a B.
B+ for me.
We have another Dale Earnhardt Wrangler throwback going on, this time from the 51 team with Jeremy Clements. And even then, it looks like Spartan Waste has been willing to change their logo up to look like Wrangler. Just like the Justin Allgaier one, they've done a good job of incorporating everything in here correctly. And Claudia was kind of critical of Justin Allgaier one, but I'm going to say an A for this one.
Okay, I like this better, and I don't know if it's because the numbers for the 51 is inverted of the 15, so it fits better. Or maybe the other one was in a graphic form versus this is a higher resolution image, so I can actually see the car. I like this better. A-.
Yeah, and I guess it didn't even click to me until now. I realized this is when Dale Earnhardt drove the 15 for Bud Moore briefly, and this is the 51, so just a switcheroo of the numbers. Next up, we have Ty Gibbs in the 54 Interstate Batteries car. Again, I feel like this one has been done before, but this one never gets old. Honestly, I wish it was still the primary paint scheme for Interstate Batteries. This just looks so good. I see this, I think Interstate Batteries, and I love this. I'm going to say an A+.
A+ for me as well. Love it.
All right, and that'll do it for the Xfinity Series. Claudia, what was your favorite of that one?
Yeah, not many to choose from here. I guess either A, that they haven't released them yet, or B, that they're not doing them. For me, it was either Josh Berry or Ty Gibbs. I'm going to go Josh Berry. I feel like that one's more unique than the Ty Gibbs Interstate Batteries one. So I'm going to go Josh Berry with this series.
She's going to Josh Berry. I'm going to the other Josh Balicki. Something about that random out of left field David Rudiman car and just actually going for all the effort to make the Insurance King logo look just like Burger King for this car. I love that. I love it when that much creativity gets to go into these paint schemes, and it definitely did in this one. I like Josh Balicki's car. That's my favorite of the Xfinity Series.
Okay, so we're on to the Cup Series now, and we're going to start it off with Mr. Ross Chastain.
All right, so first up, we're actually going to have his teammate alongside him as well as Daniel Suarez and Ross Chastain.
So a 2 for 1, we're going to grade.
2 for 1 right here, and literally 2 for 1.
Okay.
Okay, we've got Daniel Suarez and Ross Chastain throwing back to Dale Earnhardt Sr. and Dale Earnhardt Jr. when they raced in Japan back in the 90s. So, again, Claudia's going to love this. Coca-Cola jumping on board. They were the sponsor of Dale Jr. and Dale Sr. in those races. Dale Jr. drove to number 1. Of course, Dale Earnhardt Sr. said in some media things leading up to that, he said you're a polar bear, so you're the kid. You're in a polar bear car. So I thought that was pretty funny. I like that they actually somehow made the DEI number 1 font happen.
Yeah, about that. Had to change it.
I don't know how they did it. Maybe it's because it slanted the other way. That might be part of it. I don't know. But I like that they made it happen. What do you think, Claudia?
A+, A+.
Yes, agree for me.
Let's stop looking. This schemes plural are awesome.
It will be very hard to beat this one.
I mean, if I'm choosing between the two, I like the Ross Chastain one better just because it's more design. But I mean, that's just the car it's thrown back to. But this looks awesome. Like I said, I love when the sponsors are the same sponsors that they're throwing back to, and then this, I guess the number is right or very, very close to being right. The font. So I love both these cars, A+ and A+.
Okay, so I want to like this car because it's for a good purpose. But the problem is, I think this is just Kevin Harvick's current paint scheme for Ream.
Pink.
But they made it pink. If this car wants to run in October,
great.
I think we're fine because we're all over that. It's a breast cancer awareness month car. But what they say this is supposed to be throwing back to is what year was it? His 2013 or something like that Ream car. Whatever year it was, they're saying he ran it in breast cancer awareness month. They're throwing back to that car, but that's not true. The paint scheme would look different. I'm going to put up on screen now what that paint scheme looked like. And now back to this paint scheme. And you can tell they're totally different. So because of that, I'm like, no, you're just running your breast cancer awareness car early. That's all you're doing here. So for me, even though it's for a good purpose, I gotta say an F on this one. An F. Because it's not a throwback.
Wow. I don't want to sound critical because I really, really like what it's doing. I'm going to give it a B. B-. B-.
Now, this is a throwback. This is Kyle Larson throwing back to Tim Richmond and the Hendrick Chevrolet car for this one. And overall, I think it's done a good job. I wish I took time to put up the car here so Claudia can see the difference, but there's really not much of a difference. It's pretty much the same thing. and I give it a solid A.
Okay, going off that description, I'm going to go A- just because I don't know what it looks like. But it looks like a throwback. The number's different. The, Hedrick Chevrolet, is the font look close? Ish.
It might be more modern take on it, but I think it's pretty much the same thing.
Okay, well then that's why I'll go A-.
Now we've got something interesting here.
I know this is a Mark Martin car. I know it.
You know it's a Mark Martin car. They've even made the shape of the blue pill on the front of this because y'all know what the sponsor is. But Socios.com is a sponsor for both Brad Kozlowski and Chris Buescher this weekend at Darlington. And they ran a fan vote contest to decide which throwbacks they would run. It was already decided they would all be Mark Martin throwbacks for the 6 and Matt Kenseth throwbacks for the 17. This is the one that was chose for Brad Kozlowski. My only gripe is if we would have still scooted that number back just a little bit to get inside that blue on the side, it'd been a little bit better. And I still don't think that would be moving it, back too much. If I could ask for anything, it would be just to move that side number back a little bit. But it's probably more of a NASCAR thing than it is an RFK thing. I'm going to say a B+.
I'm in the same range. I'm at an A-, like little tweak, but I know what car it was.
Now, this is an interesting one. This is Corey LaJoie throwing back to Marty Robbins. He ran a number 777 car at one point, believe it or not. And he's actually got his own podcast on the car for this week, Stacking Pennies with Corey LaJoie. And they've done a good job. I can't remember the exact sponsor he had with this paint scheme, but I can tell they've done a good job of making it look pretty close to the throwback look. And they snuck in the 77 beside that 7, although that's not technically their number. It's kind of cool to see a triple-digit car in NASCAR.
I think it's really neat that they were able to pull that off. Now, it would have been neat if it would have been more accurate and the Corey LaJoie was in front of the 7s.
Yeah,
but
that is true. But then we'd be back at the 2020 All-Star race.
No, okay.
But no,
A- for me. It's really unique, and so I think that's why I like it.
I'm gonna say an A- as well. It's unique, and remember this one as the return of triple-digit numbers. Even the front and the back numbers say 777. The roof number is the only place where they could not put those additional 7s for some reason.
Ooh.
Now here is Chase Elliott throwing back to, gosh, I can't even remember which Napa paint scheme this was now, but I've seen the pictures of it. I know it's really accurate. Even the number font has been changed up on this one to reflect back on it. And because of all that, I'm going to say an A on this one.
I like this. Honestly, I'd be okay if this was his full-time scheme.
Really?
I like this. I feel like it takes up that space kind of in the middle and it has design. I like this. I guess my complaint with this is the photo I've seen of what it's thrown back to. The Napa colors look darker in the photo than the rent. I don't know if it's how old the photo is, but have you seen that photo? It looks like the blue is almost a navy in that photo. And then the yellow is more of a deep gold versus this is like a royal blue.
Well, I guess it's a modern take on that old paint scheme. Then.
Okay. So I'm going to give it an A- for the fact that the colors don't match. But I love the look of this.
Now back to RFK.
Kenseth. Okay.
So here's an interesting thing here. This render looks pretty well accurate, but we've seen pictures of the actual car today, and we're not quite sure if the yellow on the car is a perfect match. I think they got it right on the number, but the yellow on the car itself might be a little too bright.
I think it looks more like a yellow than a deep gold. So yeah. I'm going to go ahead and rate this on my end. I'm going to go at A-. It's kind of like the Chase Elliott thing. You're close, but you're not all the way there. It's just like a hair off. Gosh, if that could really been that deep DeWalt gold, not yellow, but gold, I think this would have been a solid. Maybe Eric feels different. Maybe Matt Kenseth's Eric's boy, so maybe he's more knowledgeable. But to me, it just looked too yellow.
Yeah, I'm going to say a B+. Next up, we've got Kyle Busch. Now, again, they did a fan vote for people to decide what paint scheme he should go to. I personally wanted to see the 2008 M&M's car be used, but this is going back to the 1998 Ernie Irvan. And although this is the only image I found of his car, I put the Ernie Irvan car beside it to kind of help compare. I think they've done a great job making this exactly like what it looked like back then for the most part. And I'm going to say an A+.
I'm like teetering A+. Once again, love when they match up.
Yeah.
So yes, this is, I know a lot of people were complaining because I guess they wanted different years.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, hey, for what this is, I think it looks great.
I just think there was better years for M&M paint schemes, but hey, this one works.
I like it.
Oh, just realized that's their last throwback.
Aww.
Next up, we got Harrison Burton. Now, this has been used by other drivers in the past, and I think it's even been used by Harrison Burton in other series. But hey, this is his first year in the Cup Series, and Dex Imaging has even done a good job of changing up their color scheme to match up with this, so I appreciate that. I like the sentimental value there, obviously. I like the look of this car. I mean, this looks like a cool car.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it really does. So, for all those reasons, I'm going to say an A.
I'm an A as well. Honestly, like I said, this could even run on a regular Sunday, and I would not be opposed to that. This just looks like a good scheme. I like the lightning bolt. That looks really cool. And it takes the space, like creates design in that kind of empty gap. I really like this as a regular car.
Now we've got Joe Lagun on. He's throwing back to his old go-kart, I think, when he was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the number I appreciate is actually going back to that gold look that was on there. And they've even done a good job. You can see there's like a little roll cage look on the outside of this. It looks like his old go-kart, if you can see that.
Oh, I see that now. Yeah.
So I think that's a pretty cool effect on here. But I think when I just see the bright yellow, the shell and the Pennzoil logo.
Well, especially on the side with the 22 and then the Pennzoil.
It's just clashing with the gold. It's like the only thing that can make this car better is if we could get Pennzoil and shell to change their colors up to gold.
Well, that or even white, I think might have been okay.
Yeah, or even white. Just do something to make it match better. But I get that brand policies. You can't do that with them, at least. I'm going to say a B+.
I'm a B+ as well. I like the detail of the roll cage. I honestly did not see that until you pointed that out. I had seen the video of him and his family, like kind of looking at his old go-kart, I believe was what it was. But I had not seen the actual stock car until now. So yeah, I like this, but little bit tweaking and we could have made this great. Ooh.
This is one that should have been done a long time ago.
This looks good.
Obviously, this is one of my all-time favorite paint schemes ever of Jeff Gordon. When I first started watching NASCAR, I started rooting for Jeff Gordon because I love the look of the blue and red Flames car. I happened the bus that I rode from school was bus number 24. So that's the reason.
Really?
That's the reason I first started wanting to root for car number 24 because that was my bus number. As silly as that is, but it turned out I was rooting for a pretty solid driver with a pretty good looking car too. Mm-hmm. And the only things I get that DuPont is no longer the main sponsor. And Axalta is pretty much kind of who stepped in and kind of, bought them out to a point. Mm-hmm. So I get, it's got to be the Axalta logo. But, man, I just wish they could have done something like that round logo.
That kind of like long oval logo.
Yeah. I wish that could be there. And, again, this paint scheme should have been done a long time ago before the number was shifted forward because it just throws it off just a little bit. But just the sentimental value there of this car finally being done.
Had this car never been done?
Never as a throwback. And I can't believe it's took until now.
I can't believe it for such an iconic driver like Jeff Gordon that no one has done the most iconic scheme.
They had done the rainbow car a couple of times, but not this one.
This one looks so good.
This one has took so long. I mean, even when William Byron first came into Cup, he was basically using Jeff Gordon's last Axalta paint scheme. But this one is just iconic. And even with the number shifted forward, I got to say A+. I can't wait to see the way this car actually looks. I hope that the blue and red looks exactly right.
Yeah, I like this. I'm going to kind of go against my own standards and say A+, even though there's a couple tweaks. But the colors just pop so well. And I love when I just immediately know who it is. It's who it's supposed to throw back to. So A+ for me. So
I like this one. It's a Mark Martin throwback, but it's It's weird to a point that Valvoline is a Hendrick sponsor and this is a Valvoline throwback, but because Ally is signed on for the full season,
they can't do it.
They can't do a Valvoline car. I mean, I know we've seen Valvoline throwbacks before in the past. Other people have done it, but I at least appreciate the Ally for the hood. They changed up the logo to kind of mirror Valvoline to a point, and they've done a pretty good job overall of making this car. Although it is Ally, you see Valvoline when you look at this.
Did they do it right?
For the most part, I think they did it right. I'm going to say a B.
I like this. I like the colors, the look. I'm gonna go a little bit more positive. A. I like this. So I actually saw on Twitter today that RCR is not doing it. They had actually released their paint schemes. Not Throwback. So Tyler Reddick is doing the Three Chai as kind of his typical scheme. And Austin Dillon has a new look. Hook
fishing gear.
HUK.
And actually, I'm wearing a Hook fishing gear t-shirt. But I'm as a fisherman, you guys know I like fishing. I'm pretty hardcore on my fishing. I like seeing companies that I recognize that I buy from entering into NASCAR. So I think that's pretty cool to see them on board.
Yeah, so that was neat.
I'm really surprised for his last throwback race opportunity, we don't have one from Eric Almirola.
We haven't seen one him. We haven't seen Denny Hamlin.
Actually, Denny Hamlin is on here. Let's see him real quick. I forgot about him. I didn't see his car on this list.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Well, last minute entry. I'm sure some more will pop in through the week. But we are going to check out Denny Hamlin. To himself. I did see this. This is from when he won first Daytona 500?
First Daytona 500, the 2016 season. And this paint scheme translates really well in the next gen. Of course, there is changes, of course, because obviously FedEx Express didn't have that much coverage. And
no,
in all honesty, I wasn't a big fan of this year's FedEx car. I'd be happy if this was the primary, in all honesty.
Yeah, this looks good. Wait, can we pull up his win car?
Yes. So yeah, here's an image of his 2016 car. I'm going to put it up on screen here so you guys can see it. But yeah, this is pretty well accurate to what he's throwing back to.
Wait, let's go back. Now I've seen it. I want to go back.
So now we're back on it. Claudia, you've seen the 2016 car. Now you see his throwback for this weekend.
Honestly, this to me looks a lot better on this car.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like we've said, or at least I've said this for a couple guys, but I would be happy if this was his scheme for the actual season. Like, I like how the orange arches, and even Danny has pulled up like the Google images, so I can even see his this year car. And I like just the orange accents on this throwback. This looks really good. Gosh, now I'm really gonna have a tough choice deciding who's my winner pick for the Cup Series.
All right, so with that said, let's think about this, Claudia. Who is my favorite from the Cup Series?
Oh, boy.
I'm going to say, because of the nostalgia of when I started watching NASCAR, the William Byron 24 car has to be my favorite this year.
My top ones, I'll just say my top ones, and then I will say my pick. Okay. My top ones are Ross Chastain's Coca-Cola with the polar bear. I liked the Jeff Gordon throwback from William Byron. And I like the Denny Hamlin. But because I really like this product and I love this image, I am going to go with Ross Chastain. I love Coca-Cola. I am a huge Coca-Cola fan. Love drinking it. Love the logo. Love when the logos match up to the same. And yeah, and the number 5 is pretty dang close.
How they made that happen is beyond me, because, old TE.
Again, we recorded this on Tuesday, and, didn't happen. Maybe it's because of TE? I don't know.
They made it happen, and I appreciate that they did. And speaking of appreciation, this has been a long video, so I appreciate you guys sticking with us and hearing out all of our throwback reactions and grades this year. Let us know down below in the comment section if you agree or disagree with anything. Let us know your favorites down below from all the series. And get ready to enjoy the throwback weekend at Darlington this year. If you guys are going, have fun. We would like to cross off Darlington on our bucket list one day, but not this year, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think we were trying to squeeze it in this year, and then it just didn't work out because we had Bristol and Talladega, and then we've got some tracks coming up in June and July, so it just didn't feel right. And even had the possibility of I guess it's still could be a possibility in the fall at Labor Day, but the flights to that area is so expensive because it's a holiday weekend too. But that one is one of the ones in the Southeast we have not crossed off yet. Definitely should be next on our list. So hopefully we will get there soon. Not this race, but hopefully in the near future.
It's coming soon. And speaking of coming soon, more videos coming on the channel very soon. Until next time, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe if you're new. Like this video. Leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. And as always, have a great day. Bye guys.
Hey race fans, thanks for watching this video from DannyBTalks. If you're new to my channel, please be sure to hit subscribe and click the notification bell so you never miss another video from my channel.